10 most chilling abandoned places on Earth. There are places in the world that are creepy as they come, abandoned, yet filled with stories of tragedy, mystery, and resilience. These locations aren't just scary, they challenge everything we think we know about the past. Stay with me as we delve into the most spine-chilling abandoned places that will leave you speechless. Number 10. Belitz Heilstätten Hospital, Echoes of the Past. Hidden in the dense forests near Berlin, the Belitz Heilstätten Hospital stands as a haunting relic of history. Built in 1898, this sprawling medical complex was designed to treat tuberculosis patients during a time when the disease was an epidemic across Europe. With state-of-the-art facilities for its era, the hospital became a beacon of hope for many, until its halls became synonymous with suffering and despair. During both World Wars, Belitz Heilstätten was converted into a military hospital where countless soldiers were treated, including a young Adolf Hitler after being injured in World War I. But as time passed, the hospital witnessed the devastating toll of epidemics, war, and neglect. After the fall of East Germany, the hospital was abandoned, leaving behind crumbling walls, rusted medical equipment, and overgrown courtyards. Its haunting beauty also caught the attention of filmmakers, and it served as a key location in the Oscar-winning movie The Pianist. From Belitz Heilstätten, we now move to an island shrouded in pain and isolation, where history lingers in the shadows of its crumbling walls. Number 9. Goli Otok, the Alcatraz of the Adriatic. Just off the coast of Croatia lies Goli Otok, a barren island once used as a political prison. Its desolate, rocky landscape earned it the name Naked Island, but it's the stories of the inmates who suffered here that make it truly chilling. For nearly 4 decades, Goli Otok served as Yugoslavia's most feared prison, where political prisoners and perceived enemies of the state were sent to endure unspeakable hardships. Prisoners were subjected to brutal forced labor, breaking rocks in the island's scorching heat, while being constantly surveilled by guards. Physical and psychological abuse were routine, as the prison was designed to crush the human spirit. Inmates were often forced to fight each other, creating a system where survival came at the cost of trust. Today, Goli Otok stands abandoned, with crumbling prison buildings and rusting machinery slowly being reclaimed by nature. From the desolation of Goli Otok, we now travel to a forgotten city of churches where whispers of ancient glory still echo through its ruins. Number 8. Ani, the city of 1,001 churches. On the border of Turkey and Armenia lies Ani, an abandoned medieval city that was once a flourishing hub of culture and trade. Known as the City of 1,001 Churches, Ani thrived during the 10th and 11th centuries as the capital of Bagratid Kingdom of Armenia. Its strategic location along the Silk Road made it a wealthy and influential city, boasting a population of over 100,000 people. Ani was home to grand cathedrals, palaces, and defensive walls that rivaled the architecture of its time. However, the city's success also made it a target. Repeated invasions, earthquakes, and economic decline slowly drained Ani's life. By the 14th century, it was abandoned. Today, its ruins sit in creepy silence, surrounded by rolling hills and the rugged terrain of the American Highlands. Walking through Ani feels like stepping into a history book. Despite its desolation, Ani remains a UNESCO World Heritage Site, preserving its haunting beauty for those who venture to this forgotten city. From the crumbling walls of Ani, we now journey to a desert where shifting sands have consumed an entire town, creating a surreal and haunting landscape. Number 7. Kolmanskap, Namibia. The town swallowed by sand. Deep in the Nama Desert lies Kolmanskap, a ghost town that looks like it belongs in a surreal painting. In 1908, German settlers discovered diamonds scattered in the sand, sparking a diamond rush that transformed this barren area into a thriving mining town. Lavish homes, a hospital, a theater, and even a bowling alley were built in the middle of the desert to cater to the miners and their families. For a time, Kolmanskop was one of the wealthiest places in the region, but its prosperity didn't last. By the 1930s, diamond supplies began to dwindle and residents started to leave. By 1950s, the town was completely abandoned, leaving its once grand buildings to the mercy of the desert. Over the years, the relentless sands have crept into every corner, filling rooms knee-deep and transforming Kolmanskop into a creepy, otherworldly ghost town. From the shifting sands of Kolmanskop, we now head to an island where disease and disaster shaped its haunting legacy, a place where silence speaks louder than words. Number 6, North Brother Island, a quarantine forgotten by time. In the bustling heart of New York City, just across the East River, lies North Brother Island, a small, overgrown patch of land with a haunting past. Once a quarantine zone for infectious diseases, this forgotten island is a stark reminder of how isolation was used to contain illness in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. North Brother Island housed Riverside Hospital, where patients with smallpox, typhoid, and tuberculosis were sent. These were people that society was desperate to keep away. The island's most infamous resident was Mary Mallon, better known as Typhoid Mary. She was forcibly quarantined here for decades after being accused of causing multiple typhoid outbreaks. During her isolation, she lived alone in a small cottage, becoming a controversial symbol of public health policy and personal rights. A tragedy struck in 1904 when the steamboat General Slocum caught fire nearby, killing over 1,000 passengers. Many of the victims washed ashore on North Brother Island, adding to its grim history. By the mid-20th century, the hospital was abandoned and the island was left to nature. From the shadows of isolation on North Brother Island, we now travel across the Atlantic to a village where tragedy froze time, a silent memorial to one of history's most harrowing events. Number 5, Oradour-sur-Glane, a village frozen in tragedy. Nestled in the rolling hills of the French countryside lies Oradour-sur-Glane, a village that stands as a chilling memorial to the horrors of World War II. On June 10, 1944, the quiet town was pushed into darkness when Nazi soldiers carried out a brutal massacre, killing 642 men, women, and children. Villagers were rounded up, and the town was systematically destroyed in an act of unimaginable cruelty. Walking through Oradour-sur-Glane today feels like stepping back in time. The rusting remains of 1940s cars sit abandoned in the streets, and bicycles lean against crumbling walls. Inside homes and shops, personal items like sewing machines and cookware remain exactly where they were left, as if waiting for their owners to return. The town's church, where many of the victims sought refuge but tragically perished, stands as one of the most harrowing sights ever seen. From the sad streets of Oradour-sur-Glane, we now journey underground to a place where 6 million souls rest, a hidden world beneath the streets of Paris. Number 4, the Catacombs of Paris, a city of the dead. Beneath the romantic streets of Paris lies a haunting underground world that feels like stepping into the afterlife itself. Known as the Catacombs, this labyrinth of tunnels stretches nearly 200 miles and holds the remains of over 6 million people. It's one of the world's largest ossuaries, and its chilling history is as fascinating as it is creepy. In the late 1700s, Paris faced a major problem: overcrowded cemeteries. Graves were overflowing, leading to unsanitary conditions and health hazards in the city. To solve this issue, officials decided to transfer the bones into the abandoned limestone quarries beneath Paris. Workers carefully arranged the remains into intricate patterns, creating walls of skulls and femurs that line the dimly lit tunnels. Today, the catacombs have become a macabre tourist attraction, offering visitors a glimpse into a darker side of Parisian history. However, much of the labyrinth remains off limits, with countless stories of explorers who ventured too far and were never seen again. From the bone-lined tunnels of Paris, we now travel to a fiery pit in the desert, a place that looks like it belongs in the underworld. Number 3. A door to hell, a gateway of external flames. In the vast empty expanse of the Karakum Desert in Turkmenistan lies a sight so surreal it seems almost unworldly. A fiery crater known as the Door to Hell, officially called the Darvaza gas crater. The massive burning pit has been blazing continuously for over 50 years, earning its famous nickname. The story of the crater began in 1971 when Soviet geologists were drilling for natural gas. During the work, the ground collapsed, creating a massive hole approximately 230 feet wide and 65 feet deep. Realizing that dangerous methane gas were escaping into the atmosphere, the scientists set it on fire, expecting it to burn out within a few days. But they underestimated the scale of the gas reserves beneath the desert. Decades later, the flames are still soaring. The crater is especially mesmerizing at night when its glowing red flames light up the desert sky, creating a spectacle that feels like something out of a science fiction movie. From the fiery depths of Turkmenistan, we now travel to Mexico, where a town was swallowed by lava, leaving behind a haunting symbol of nature's unstoppable power. Number 2. The San Juan Parangar Cutiro Church, a lava-buried building. In the heart of Mexico's Michoacán region lies a church that stands as a ghostly reminder of nature's unstoppable force. The San Juan Parangar Cutiro Church is the only visible remnant of a town that was buried under molten lava when the Paracutan volcano erupted in 1943. The sudden volcanic activity engulfed the nearby villages, forcing thousands to flee, leaving their homes, possessions, and memories behind. Remarkably, while the entire town was swallowed by lava, the church's bell tower and altar survived, protruding eerily above the hardened volcanic rock. Today, visitors to the site are met with a surreal scene, black lava flows stretching in every direction, with a crumbling church standing defiantly in the middle. From the lava-covered ruins of Mexico, we now travel to the frozen wilderness of Antarctica, where a creepy hut tells tales of survival, isolation, and one of humanity's greatest expeditions. Number 1. Scott's Hut, Antarctica, a frozen time capsule. At the edge of the Ross Ice Shelf in Antarctica, surrounded by snow and silence, lies Scott's Hut, a structure frozen in time, built in 1911 by British explorer Robert Falcon Scott and his team during their ill-fated expedition to the South Pole. The hut has remained almost perfectly preserved due to the continent's frigid temperatures. Inside the hut, time stands still. Wooden shelves still hold tins of biscuits and cocoa, tools and sledges lie as they were left, and bunk beds are neatly arranged as if the explorers might return at any moment. However, the tragic story behind the hut makes it even more haunting. After reaching the South Pole in 1912, Scott and his team perished on their return journey, just 11 miles from a supply depot. Scott's Hut serves as both a historical site and a chilling reminder of the harsh realities of polar exploration. Standing in the stillness of Antarctica, surrounded by the remnants of this expedition, it's hard not to feel the weight of their determination and sacrifice. And that's our journey through the world's most chilling abandoned places, each one holding stories of mystery, tragedy, and nature's power. Which one gave you the biggest chills? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more fascinating explorations next time. Narrated by yours truly, Brian Crow.